All right, apparel and services. According to the document, Consumer Expenditures, a publication of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average consumer unit spent $1,874 on apparel and services in the year 2006. That same year, 25 consumer units in the Northeast had the following expenditures in dollars on apparel and services. And I've summed up that data for you here at the end. At the 5% significance level, do the data provide sufficient evidence to conclude that the 2006 mean annual expenditure on apparel and services for consumer units in the Northeast differed from the national mean of 1874? And we have the sample mean and sample standard deviation here. So we're asked if it differs from this number of 1874. So this is the phantoms. We're doing a hypothesis test. So we'll start with our P. We're looking for the mean expenditure on apparel and services differs from 1874. Okay, so there's our P. The H is our two hypotheses. So my null hypothesis and my alternative. And there, we're talking about a mean, so we're going to use mu. Okay, and so it's, according to this document, it's claimed that $1,874 are spent. So that's going to be our null hypothesis. And then our alternative hypothesis will also use that 1874 number. And then what we're looking at is that it differs from 1874. So this is a not equal to, which means this is a two-tail test. And then we have A for our assumptions and conditions. So we have simple random sample, normal large, and then do we have sigma? All right, so I don't see random sample stated anywhere in here. So I'm just going to put a star here and say not stated. Our N is 25, okay, which isn't quite large enough for the central limit theorem. Okay, but we are allowed to make the assumption, according to the document, that this is normally distributed. So we'll put normal, and I'm going to put stated here. And then we don't have, so sigma is our population standard deviation, and we don't have a population standard deviation, so that's a no. But we do have a sample standard deviation, so that's this 350/90. And while we're here, we might as well write down X bar also, which is 2060.76. Right, so since we do not have our population standard deviation, so no sigma, that means the name of our test, this is a one mean T as in tiger test. Okay. So if you have to use S as your sample standard deviation, then you're doing T as in a T as in tiger test, so ST. All right, the next step in phantoms is our test statistic. We'll need to go figure out what T is equal to and get our p-value. So we're going to hop over to our spreadsheet. Okay, so we're over on our spreadsheet, and what we want to do is go down to these tabs and make sure we end up on the t-test tab. So let me take these guys out of here. The t-test for chapter 20, our sample mean was 2060.76. Mu, that's our null hypothesis, was 1874. Sigma, so this should actually be S for our standard deviation, and that was 350.90, and our sample size here was 25, which means our degrees of freedom is 24. So our degrees of freedom is 1 minus our sample size, and that gives us a test statistic of 2.66, so we'll write that down. And then our p-value here, so we are on a two-tail test, so that gives us 0.013. Okay, so 3 to 4 decimal places is a good idea here. And that's all we need from the spreadsheet, so we can go back to our classwork and finish this up. All right, so you'll notice that I wrote down our test statistic and I wrote down my p-value from the spreadsheet. My alpha here is the 5% significance level. So this is 0.05. And then which one of these is bigger, 0.01 or 0.05? Well, the 0.05 is bigger. Okay, so then we need to make a decision here. So we either reject or do not reject. If P is smaller, we're going to do reject the null hypothesis. And then we're ready for our conclusion statement here. So with P equal to 0.013 at the 5% significance level, we do have sufficient evidence and then we're going to pick up this sentence from the P part of phantoms. So sufficient evidence, the mean expenditure on apparel and services differs from 1,874. All right, there we go.